Hello and welcome back to the Living Vivaciously podcast. I'm your host, Marina, and today we're talking about building a strong brand, building a recognizable brand. And my guest today is Michael Morris, the founder and CFO, Chief Fitness Officer of Shred, a fitness and wellness brand based in Puerto Escondido, where we're both living at the moment. And I'm here live with Michael, which is so exciting. Michael had a long and successful corporate career as an executive vice president of marketing in Chicago, as well as running his own online marketing business while traveling the world. His travels and adventures led him to eventually settling down in Mexico and starting his own company, Shred. From very humble beginnings, he has scaled Shred into a powerhouse wellness brand serving up diverse offerings of group fitness, wellness classes, events, and community in Puerto Escondido. So let's get into it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Are you shreddy?
Hi, Michael.
Hi, Marina.
How's it going?
It is going great.
Thank you for having me here in your beautiful home and for the cocoa.
You're welcome.
Cheers.
Salud.
I love that. I try to have a cocoa a day here, and especially in this heat, it's incredible.
Natural electrolyte.
Yeah.
I figure if we live at the beach, I feel like a daily cocoa should be part of our
Absolutely.
life.
Actually, earlier today, I bought a whole liter of cocoa, and I just put it in my fridge. And
I keep those in my fridge for easy access.
I'm really curious about how you ended up in Puerto Escondido and deciding to start your business in this beautiful tropical paradise that we get to live in right now.
It's a great question. Interesting story. I had zero intention of starting a wellness or fitness business that I find myself in. I had, in 2017, when I had left a career in corporate America where I was running a marketing division for a company there, and left that and decided to travel the world figured a couple of months and I would return to my career, which I actually loved, and got traveling 2 months, 3 months, 9 months, more than a year, and realized I had been gone too long and couldn't return back to that life, and decided at that point to start a marketing consulting business, which I would do remotely while I traveled the world, continued to travel the world.
Is marketing your background?
Marketing is my background. It's what I went to school in. It's kind of in my DNA. I believe I have a marketing mind that doesn't shut up easily.
Yes. I mean, it shows in your brand, which we're going to get all up into today.
Marketing's the background, and it's what I decided would give me the ability to work and travel at the same time, was to have my own marketing consulting company. And that's actually what I was doing when I arrived here to Mexico at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020. Well, I traveled, and in my life before leaving corporate America, I was always into fitness as well. I was into fitness, keeping myself healthy and active, participating in some competitive races around the world as well, obstacle course racing, which is my hobby as well. And I was doing that here in Puerto when I arrived, working remotely and working out, being a bit of a fitness fanatic, doing it wherever I would, travel the world on the beach and making up my own workouts, working with what I had. And here in Puerto, maybe this is 2020, COVID times, I was doing some workouts on my own, and I had someone who had seen me doing this and asked if I would train them. She's a sex therapist out of Australia who found herself here as well, a 50-year-old woman, and she became my first client. Reluctantly, actually, because I had never done anything like that before, never trained anyone else, had only trained myself. It was taking me out of my comfort zone to be in the position of training someone else. But I slowly started training with her. She fell in love with the training and getting reconnected with her body and her health and wellness, and pretty quickly had me training one of her friends and then another one. And then before long, someone had asked if I would give classes at one of their locations. And at first I was super reluctant and I said no. A few weeks later, I thought about it and said, what the heck, I'll give it a try. And that first class that I gave, first group class, I decided I should call it something other than Train with Michael. But that's what it was just training with me, alongside me. But I wanted a name that the marketer in me knew would have a little bit of zing to it.
Mm-hmm.
I knew the name Shred. I always liked it. I frankly was between the word Shred and Crush as the two names for this business.
They're both really intense.
Yeah, they're both intense. And it was a
Yeah.
HIIT workout, high intensity
Okay.
interval training
So that makes
workout
a
that
lot of
I,
sense.
and I, so I was
Mm.
looking for a word that captured that. Only just one workout. And I came up with the name Shred 30 because it was my first workout and the only workout I was teaching at that time was a HIIT workout, Tabata style, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, broken up into 3 10-minute rounds. So it was 30 minutes of work, and hence the name Shred 30. So
Mhm.
I just named the class to start, and it was called Shred 30. And that's how it started. That was the end of 2020, fall of 2020. She was my first student. Fast forward 3.5 years later to where do we at? Spring of 2024, and Shred has grown significantly. That's when I had one class. I now have 15 different types of classes. We have 40 classes a week in 5 different locations.
Mm.
And we are coming up on having our 10,000th shredder come through the doors of
Wow.
Shred in
Congratulations.
those
That's
years. So
major.
we're just on the cusp of that. So thank
Big
you. Yeah.
milestone. Yeah. And you said you were reluctant to take this first client. What was the reason that you didn't want to start doing this? Do you not see yourself running a business aside from, being a
The
marketer?
marketing.
Like, was it like part of like the identity of like Michael is a marketer, he's
It,
not a fitness trainer?
it was maybe a little bit of identity, but I think it just came down to being comfortable in your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
I was comfortable doing my own training myself, and the thought of being responsible for somebody else's workout was a little intimidating.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was definitely something that I hadn't done anything like that before.
Mm-hmm.
In as much as in my fitness life before Shred, I encountered people who would be like, "You make a great trainer," or "You should really think about training." And I always sort of pushed away those suggestions or recommendations or thoughts, because I actually always used to say, "No, I'm quite happy like being in the class, having someone else tell me what to do." And I maybe was a little bit concerned about taking something I was passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
which is fitness, and monetizing it or changing it, losing that by trying to make a business out of it or something like that. So this was not part of a long-term thought out game planned or childhood dream or any type of dream to get into the fitness business, but it's one that I guess kept knocking on my door until I finally opened it.
I think sometimes the most successful businesses that anyone could build is based on the things that you're passionate about, the things that you would just offer to a friend for free, the thing that you would just do
naturally because you want to.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so that has, I think, ultimately worked to the advantage of Shred, because so much of what I do doesn't feel like work, because I still am super passionate about fitness itself, the wellness, the world of wellness. I'm passionate about marketing because as I mentioned, it's sort of a big part of my past, my background, my history, my experience, my skill sets, and me. And I'm passionate about Shred because this is now something that I've given birth to, if you will, and it's been fun to see it grow and go through all the different stages and the journey that I've been on with it.
I've noticed when I landed in Puerto Escondido that everywhere I looked, there was a Shred sign. And I mean, today you're even wearing your Shred blue, your Shred t-shirt. So you are very in tune with the power of branding and marketing. And those are two separate things that work so well together. So let's talk a little bit about the powerful branding that you've built around Shred. And it seems really intentional to me. Like literally everywhere I went, I heard the word shred,
Right.
saw a
Yeah.
poster or a sign for shred. Like it's you can't not know that shred exists, and you wonder, what is shred? You kind of ultimately know it's like a
Right.
fitness
Yeah.
brand, but like someone will invite me to
Yeah.
a moon circle with shred, and
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
They're a fitness brand?
Yeah.
Oh, they have everything. So I want to kind of dig into a little bit of that, like how you thought about the branding of shred.
So I thought about the name of the class first. So,
Okay.
this is probably like a little bit of learning from some mistakes I've made along the way in branding shred, and then some things that we've done with a lot of well thought out strategy and intention. But the reality is, I named a class that I was going to give once or twice a week here in Puerto Escondido, and I thought the name was perfect for this class. I had zero vision at that point in time beyond this little class that I would give as a side hustle and hobby. Other than that, I wanted it to have a clever name to it, but I never thought beyond one class, which is the reason I named it Shred 30, and that's it. So some things I didn't consider were, where does this name that is the essence of the brand, what sort of like legs does it have? What sort of opportunity does it have to sort of take us down a path of growth or scaling or expansion? So at that time, I really never thought about it. And it is potentially limiting in some ways with the name Shred. I called it Shred 30. That was one class. Once I started my second class, just few months after that, I dropped the 30 from the brand and just called it Shred. So, but we started as Shred 30. Now found ourselves as settling in Shred. And then I also really, in some hindsight, didn't do enough due diligence in terms of how does this word translate in various languages, especially the language of the country I find myself in Mexico, and it's not a word that translates super cleanly in Spanish as well. So despite these challenges starting out with the brand, we find ourselves with a strong brand name and identity here in Porto.
Very easy to remember
It
too.
is it is easy to remember, and I think for first language English speakers, it does connote something related to fitness and health and wellness. To others, it's just a curious word that sometimes needs some explanation. But we've tried to address that with a couple, I think, branding essentials, and one is color. So early on, I wanted our color to be something that was part of the place that we live in. And so I felt like we're here at the beach, and we've got beautiful blue sea of the Pacific Ocean, and we've got the yellow of the sun. And so in my mind, Shred was either going to be blue or yellow as a homage to where we are. So we picked a very aqua blue, and we've owned that color so much that I believe I have people that will, be like, oh, that's Shred blue, or I wanted the color to be strong enough and us to be as married and consistent to that color where someone could see that color alone and it would trigger the recognition, the identity, the emotion that we try and create around Shred. So it's the color, it's consistency, sort of be consistent in our application of the brand, in our brand voice, our personality, the communication of the brand. And then it's a relentless approach to marketing and brand building and brand awareness. So I've never taken the viewpoint that we have ever, despite successes along the way and things that we have had just tremendous epic success with, never at any point given into the thought that we're done. That people know us. Yeah, we're well known. We can drop the mic, and we're never done. So I take the viewpoint that we always need to be working on enhancing our brand, in driving increased awareness, get it to the point that it is ubiquitous, interwoven into the community and the fabric of the place that we're in. So I think those are the reasons why after maybe a few hours or a few days here, you will have seen Shred, whether it's in a coffee shop, a restaurant, a store, a massage studio, a street corner, on your Instagram feed, on a Google search or a Google ad or what have you. You're gonna
Right.
see us, and that's our chance at giving ourselves. It's our way of giving ourselves the best chance
Mm-hmm.
at being a part of your
Right.
experience here in Porto, and adding some wellness options for you here in Puerto Escondido.
And it's like the most visible brand is the chosen brand. The more visible you are.
Visibility is certainly, it's
Yeah.
important. I would say it's not everything, because visibility, at the end of the day, you need to have a, a product that meets consumer need or
course.
interest, and then a product that delivers
And that creates loyalty.
and then that creates loyalty. And so if you are providing something that people want, are interested in, need, or you can, appeal to someone who doesn't realize they want or need that yet, and encourage that, that's great. But then you also need to be able to deliver on the brand promise. So we also have to be able to put a quality product out there, our product being fitness classes or yoga classes or wellness events. We need to be able to deliver on that, to be able to keep that brand growing. Otherwise, awareness without that follow through, if you will only take you so far.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's totally it. Because if you're not being seen, people don't know you exist. But then also something that I've noticed about Shred is that you guys are very seen, very visible everywhere, but also it is easy to enroll in classes. So you've made the user experience really friendly and easy. So I can just go online and click and pay for my class if I wanted to. And I noticed this is something that in a lot of places, business owners don't think about the usability or the ease of getting their product in the hand of their ideal client.
It's something I think that has been a way to differentiate the Shred in our marketplace, is that we have put a focus and made the investments in technology to be able to make sure accessing our classes, information about our classes, all that is easy, seamless, intuitive, consumer friendly, and also in filling in a gap that existed in our marketplace here in Porto, in terms of just like the technology that provides, a class reminder that you've got a class coming up in 24 hours, or technology that will send an email to you thanking you for joining for your first class and encouraging you to sign up for your next. And we have put this sort of systems in place that make that consumer experience as personalized as possible, as smooth and seamless as possible. And it's done so to focus on the consumer, make it really an epic experience all the way through. But also that focus on technology has allowed us the foundation and the bandwidth to be able to scale. So without that, we couldn't go, as we did earlier 4 or 5 months ago, go from 20 classes a week to 40 classes a week. If we did not had made those investments in the technology that drives the engine that is Shred, we would not have been able to scale that quickly, that seamlessly. So super important.
Yeah. I've also noticed something about your brand and that drew me to it. It was this one event that I joined.
That was our Shred experience at Mombasa.
Shred
but
experience.
Just one of just many events.
Yeah, you have
different types
many of them. And I mean, you even have some that you host that are just like get-togethers and they're free of charge. And I think that's amazing because that creates more brand awareness. But this one particular event, I remember like just falling in love with the branding, the intentional branding, the brand experience, the being in a space where everything was thought of. And I really think that sets your brand apart and creates this loyalty to Shred. And I remember one of the things, there was this spray that smelled amazing because it's so hot here. I mean, Michael and I are sweating right now, even though there's an AC, there's a fan.
Yeah.
It's just hot. That's the reality of
This is true.
Puerto.
This is true.
But
we
you
love it.
had this amazing like mist that I don't know, had eucalyptus or something like that in it. And then you offered
Cooling
these towels. Also the language that you used, you called like, people they're shredders and are you shreddy? And I thought like everything was so beautifully branded and just in the experience, like I went there and I felt amazing. I left thinking, oh my God, I want to be part of shred community. It felt like a community. Do you have a team helping you? Like, how do you come up with all that? Like,
The ideas come to me.
Yeah.
I don't go to the ideas.
Yeah.
They literally come
mic
to me.
drop. That's it.
They do. I mean, it's in the most unlikely situations and scenarios. But to your question, yes, I do have a team. I am fortunate to have an amazing team of 20 individuals
Wow.
now with our instructors and support team that help make the shred dream come true. We call ourselves the Shred Dream Dream
Oh,
Dream
that's so
Team.
cute.
Easy for me to say.
Yeah.
So I have a team, but my background is in marketing. A lot of it also focused on event marketing and in event marketing. And I treat our wellness events like the corporate events that I was involved in my past. And those were all about creating memorable experience, a meticulous attention to detail, and executing flawlessly. So to me, it's like to bring all those things together, focus on the details to execute, and to go beyond, what we did at Mombasa for that event was a workout in simple terms, but we went beyond just trying to make it a workout to try and create an experience, make it experiential. And so add things that you won't remember whether you did a squat or a burpee or a push-up in that workout, but you do remember those details, those fine touches that set it apart. So the things that add some lightheartedness to it, levity with the games or rolling a dice or doing things for certain songs or things that get you connected with our community. So maybe a partner exercise, or maybe it is the things like our signature shred cooling spray, which is what you experienced, which is a eucalyptus essential oil infused spray that refreshes, restores, rejuvenates you. These are just some of the little things that we intertwine into our event. And to be fair, the spray was one of 10, little touches that all took place at that event to make it special. So these are, the attention to those details that we put into not just our events, but our classes as well, because we believe every opportunity that we bring our community together to do something good for their being, their bodies, their health and wellness is an opportunity to create an experience that transcends going to a regular class. A regular class these are a dime a dozen, and that's not how we are going to differentiate ourselves, and that's not how we're going to create emotional connections to our brand. And it's about creating a connection that someone feels invested in here versus just a physical connection. So
it's the emotional connection you give people experiencing your brand. I mean, that's actually how I would describe a whole brand vibe. It's like a feeling that someone gets being part of Shred, being part of Living Vivaciously, being part of our brands, whether we're service providers, whether we're offering a product. Like, what is the experience that people leave having?
Sure. It is also, that approach is also very consistent with a big part of our brand philosophy, which is, in as much as the name Shred speaks to being ripped and jacked, and it's like a word that kind of conjures up like physical images of like maybe someone with a six pack or what have you. The reality is that the name and who we are actually are not super well connected, because we always say at Shred, it's not about how you look, it's about how you feel. And everything we do at Shred is focused on that feeling and not the look. So you will scour Shred advertising and you'll never see anything that says, get that summer beach bod,
Right.
or we've got, get the 6-pack abs,
Mm-hmm.
or lose this weight. We don't do before and after photos. We could do them, but we don't, because yes, people's bodies change and people lose weight and all that thing. But our focus and our intention is that we focus on the feel, and that, because that is a lot more sustainable than anything physical oriented.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, one of our catchphrases is do it for the feels. And so we're all about, if you feel stronger, you feel like you have more energy, you feel like you're sleeping better, you feel more confident in your body, you feel healthier, you feel more energetic. This is the reason we want people to come to Shred and to continue to come to Shred. And this is a much more sustainable approach to a wellness journey than in our opinion, than anything else.
Yeah.
And so that feeling that we try and create in our classes and our events and all that is all wrapped up into, again, a very important fundamental of Shred is to focus on how you feel and not how you look.
That's definitely a differentiator because a lot of fitness brands do focus on maybe the external without that internal part too.
Yeah, and
like
it's also it's actually something that has pained me at times about our brand, is that it can feel intimidating to some people in terms of, it being a place you go when you're fit. And so there are people that have expressed to me, oh, I see it looks amazing, but I feel like I'm not in shape, or I'm too old, or I'm not there. The reality is that it's actually the opposite environment that we create at Shred, and it's one that is all-inclusive and non-judgmental. We say it's a safe Shred space. It's for all levels, all walks of life, all shapes and sizes. It is a super inclusive atmosphere that doesn't focus on what anyone looks coming into Shred, or how they look while they're in the class, what they're doing. Everyone focuses on themselves. You do you, and recognize that, you showing up to Shred is this gift that you're giving yourself. And that's the most important thing. So we really, really try and lead with that, is it being this safe Shred space and a place that welcomes all.
So speaking of feeling good and, taking care of how you feel on the inside, how do you take care of yourself, making sure that as, I think you called yourself the CFO one time?
I am the Chief Fitness Officer.
Chief Fitness Officer.
Shred.
The Chief Fitness Officer of Shred. How do you make sure that you, first of all, take care of yourself, have enough energy to lead a team and to grow a business and scale? You've grown so much over the last 2 years, right? So I'd like to know how you take care of yourself and how you prioritize yourself to be the embodiment of your brand.
Well, I mean, I think the brand focuses on leading a balanced lifestyle. Why? Because the brand is an extension of me, and that's what I do. So to me, the Shred Life, which is what our Instagram handle is,
Shred
that's
Life.
Shred Life, and that's because we really do see it as something that it's a lifestyle. It's not a workout. It's not a one-time event, and it's best when you can create something that is sustainable. And I believe that a life of balance that does allow you to prioritize your health and well-being above all, in addition to all of the other challenges and demands of life, be they family or personal or work or financial or all the other things that vie for our attention and focus, but where you can create that balance where your health and well-being has a seat at the table. A 1-hour workout is 4% of your day. So the reality is we all have the opportunity to like take that hour, if you will, for yourself, whether it's a meditation or a yoga practice or a run or a walk or a surf or a shred workout. That that's the balance that we believe is a big part of shred life, having fun, feeling good, and getting fit. Me personally, I prioritize my own personal time, my own time to work on myself. I take I take a balanced approach to my work life. I take an extended departure from the business, an extended
Wow.
vacation. I don't know if I say this, it sounds maybe weird to maybe viewers outside of Porto, but I take for a minimum of 4 months off traveling the world.
Is it
And
because Puerto's already like a vacation spot?
well, yeah, I think here it's quite normal, but I think in the rest of the world, sometimes 4 months could be a bit extreme. But the
But that's the
reality is,
freedom.
it's the freedom of it, and the
Hmm.
reality is for me is that it is this departure from the business that gives me the mental space, the
Mm,
headspace, the
yes.
clarity, and the broader vision to be able to actually, while I'm on vacation, while I am not thinking about shred, you asked me where these ideas come. This is where these ideas come. It's
Oh,
when,
there we
because
go.
very often when you
Yeah.
are your head down on the grind, working in your business, it's hard to work on your business. And so
Hmm.
for me, I get those light bulb moments when I'm away from the business. I'm getting inspiration in places I wasn't looking for it because my mind is not cluttered with the day-to-day operation of the business, being away from it. I then have the mental headspace to be able to either find a solution to a problem that's been nagging me in the business for some time, or to get that aha moment in again in a place where I wasn't looking for it, where I never expected it.
Yeah.
And truly, when I look back at the growth triggers and milestones in Shred's short 3.5 year history here so far, the majority of them can be traced to me stepping outside of the business, having that clarity, either getting an inspiration or solving a problem and coming back into the
Hmm.
business post vacation, if you will, and implementing with like a renewed energy, focus, and drive that had I not given myself that departure, I can tell you I wouldn't have gone there
Yeah.
on my own. So I do believe making time to be away from your business. And I know as very often it's like solo entrepreneurs or single individuals running and operating their own entrepreneurial businesses, it can be easier said than done at times.
Hmm.
But whether it's 4 months or 4 days
Or even a
or
day.
even a day where this is it,
Yeah.
and if that aha moment doesn't come, that's fine also. Your body, your well-being, your ability to lead, your
Hmm.
demeanor, your energy, your sleep, everything else will thank you for it. And
Absolutely.
that will indirectly also benefit your productivity, your creativity,
Yeah.
your ability to execute and to lead. So I think it's super important.
I personally, in my business, I'll block off my calendar on Mondays and Fridays because I'm
Amazing.
starting the
Yeah.
week, ending the week. Kind of want time for
Mm-hmm.
myself to look at, at my plans, at
Mm-hmm.
my strategy, even to like, go to a workout
Right.
class, go to
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
acupuncturist,
Yeah.
have a beauty day,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is that
Self-care.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have client calls on
Yeah.
those days. So early on, I've made that a priority in my business. And we have 3 days in between. I can take all the client
Right.
calls I want
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
But I think it's like having that agency and like making it a priority to take care of the CEO, the person that's running this business, the person who needs to get the ideas and inspiration to create something into this world. So taking care of yourself is important. I remember you telling me that you also have days in the business where you prioritize like self-care?
Absolutely. Wednesdays are that day for me. So it's a midweek kind of
Nice.
ability to reset. I don't teach. I use that to be a bit more strategic in my thinking and the tasks that I would get to. But it's also the time where I will, this is my self-care. It's maybe the time where I'll get to a workout that
Yeah.
I'm not teaching my own workout, that sort of thing. So I think it's super important. And I think for people that have a team that they're leading, I think it also sends a message, the right message, I think, to your team as well in terms of balance. And I think it sets a good tone, and it delivers a
Absolutely.
good message to your team as well. So,
This is amazing,
Mhm.
Michael. Thank you so much for sharing more about the journey of Shred and your own journey throughout this brand. I mean, I think having a business is one of the greatest, like, I don't know, teachers, because it's
Yes.
like having a
In the head.
child almost in a way, like you nurture it. And
Yeah.
sometimes you put so much effort into something and you don't know if it's going to work out or not, but you just have this faith and trust that it will, and it's beautiful when it does.
Yeah, I think maybe like having a child as well, maybe parent, but
Yeah.
you learn a lot about yourself
Oh, yes, totally.
from a child or from a business as well. So I
Yeah.
definitely have learned a lot about myself and the things that I am good at and the things that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. And for the things that I'm not, I delegate
Yes.
or bring in freelancers or bring in talent, people that have those talents that I don't
Mm-hmm.
have in that area. And you learn a lot about, the things that, like I mentioned, I was super reluctant to get into this business because I never saw myself in the role of helping inspire people from
Mm-hmm.
a wellness or fitness standpoint. And I've learned that actually that is something that I am capable of doing. I
Yes.
enjoy doing. And so, yeah, you learn about a lot about
Mm-hmm.
yourself and
Totally.
business. So I've learned a lot about myself. It's been a fun journey, a great ride.
And this has been a fun conversation. And for anyone who's interested in connecting with Michael and Shred or trying out a class, we're going to leave links in the description of this podcast. So thank you, everyone, for listening. And thank you, Michael, for being here.
Thank you, Marina.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you in
Coco
the next
thanks you as
one. Thank
well.
you, Coco, and
Our
our
Cocos,
Cocos.
surrounded by Cocos.
All
Thank you so
right.
much.